Oh, you damn right. Let's go house divided. Brand new week. And that guy is still Jeff Ketchum. But right before we started, he said, hey, can you lead this thing? Because my man's been working hard all morning. He had a crazy surprise drop right on top of him at the end of the Monday show. So he's rocking the Liverpool sweatshirt. The dogs are helping, and we're going to get through it today on a Monday. So we hope you guys are having a great one. It is house divided. And also, just so you know, I guess the kids are saying yee yee. I don't know what a yee yee is, but the Indy Airport, that's where Cody Carpentier is, waiting on Dunlap for the next 5 hours. I'm tapped in. There you go. Cody and Alex will have combine stuff ready to roll. But Jeff Ketchum, as we get ready to start the week here, maybe, I guess in a way, a story that I think may have been out there in terms of behind the scenes, a possible discussion, but in terms of it hitting on a Monday morning, how surprised were you about the Terry Joseph news today?
For whatever reason, both of my dogs have decided to enter the chat.
Everybody's in. Dogs are in. Just tell them to make sure they super chat.
We've got Wimes. We've got German Shepherds. Oh, you want to say something?
Oh, look at the gray ghost. Make sure you throw me make sure you throw us a super chat and how
about a super chat for Lizzie?
There you go. The Lizzie super chat. Throw me a dog bone there, Lizzie. Come on now.
Okay. Hopefully they will both leave realizing that there's nothing here for them, which I don't know that they're convinced of. Terry Joseph, the big news of the day. I was thinking about it today. Honestly, I told you a second ago, I was trying to get some momentum, like just to finish the show. I needed some adrenaline. I needed a little bit of a pick-me-up. So I'm just standing in a hot shower. I was trying to think of like, what didn't I say in the overreaction show that I could still say that is a little bit of an evolved take? Because I think Terry Joseph was a good recruiter, but that can be upgraded. I think he's a good coach, but I don't think he's an elite coach. It makes total sense from my perspective that after 4 years, which is as long as I think he's pretty much stayed anywhere in his entire career, that he's got a chance to go home, coach in the NFL with the hometown team. For him, I think it makes a lot of sense. I think for Texas, losing Blake Gideon, it felt like, well, you can survive that a little bit because Terry Joseph is still there. So when you have a secondary man by two people, plus Joseph is kind of viewed as the senior official in that secondary coaching staff, that he was the passing game coordinator. He was a little bit more of the veteran. Now that he's gone, it feels like that's what needs to be replaced. And I think that where we've talked about the way Steve Sarkisian has preferred to make hires over the course of the last few years, this will be an interesting one because I think this one calls for a different type of hire than the ones that they've made, I think, in the last 2 years. And it'll be interesting to see what Steve Sarkisian says, does, acts. And I think the thing that I was thinking about in the shower is that, boy, if you're a Texas DB, if you're in that DB room, slate's wiped clean now, baby. There is nobody back there that will work with any of these DBs that will have confirmation bias based on they recruited them, they coached them a year ago. They, like this gets to be, I think, a really interesting development for the guys in that defensive backfield. And it's not something that I think impacts the Jalen Gilbos of the world or the Malik Muhammads of the world. I think you start looking at guys like Warren Roberson. I think you start looking at Xavier Filsaime, who didn't make a big impact as a true freshman star and seemed to be behind Gordon Johnson Rebel in pecking order at safety. I think of a guy like Derek Williams coming back from an injury, Chad, a major injury. Now, the coach that recruited him is gone. The coaches that would have seen him at his very best when he was emerging as a true freshman, as a day one starter, essentially, as a guy that coming into this year, a lot of people thought would be the best safety in the program, with all due respect to Andrew Makuba and Mookie Taff and everybody that's in that defensive backfield. Now, he's just a guy coming off of an injury that doesn't have that same support system behind him. And it doesn't mean anything terrible necessarily. It just means that change is on the way, and that for all of the guys in that room, it can be a new lease in life in a lot of ways. I would be really excited if I was a Wardell Mack or, any of the young guys coming in. If you're Jonah Williams or you're Caleb Chester or Cade Phillips, you get to show up and you're working in the spring and into the fall with a coaching staff that's got new eyeballs and will be teaching new things and will have slightly different expectations. And I think with Joseph coming back, Chad, it's a little more add water instant secondary. I think we could close our eyes and probably get a good feel for what it will look like when they go to Columbus, Ohio. That probably is still the case, but not automatically. Again, I think this is a lifeline for some guys. And then occasionally, if you're an out-of-state guy who's not in the two deep, those to me are the guys across the program, but especially at a time when the assistant coaches are in rotation, or I guess not rotation. They've been changed out. So kind of that's a little bit more time to think about it. That's where my big picture 30,000 feet view of the Terry Joseph thing stands.
Terry Joseph headed to the NFL, so now another staff situation to deal with for Steve Sarkisian. If you guys want to chat in, give us your thoughts. If you want to super chat, it'll go right to the top of the list, just like Tracy's is about to do. Give us your thoughts on it. Ketch, let's go ahead and get this one out of the way. Tracy, $5 super chat with your sources. What's the knock on Huff becoming a coach at Texas? GK, have you lost weight? Looking good, brother.
I have. Thank you. I don't think Michael Huff wants to be a coach. I think Michael Huff likes his situation just the way it is, and it's kind of as simple as that. I mean, Tracy, you can want it for him all you want to, but if he doesn't want that job for himself, it's kind of the way every time we ask that question, there seems to be a whoa. Did you ask Michael about this? He seems happy. Like you're asking without his permission kind of a thing.
Yeah, being happy in your situation is a rarity sometimes. But if Michael Huff is living there, I'm not sure I would maybe.
It's hard to be happy in life. If you're there, don't mess it up.
Right. If you're there, sometimes people just want to wake up and be happy. Tracy, thank you for that $5 super chat. That makes us happy. No doubt about it. And you know what? It's name throwing time. Let's throw some names, Ketch. KD35 says Torian Gray from South Carolina. Sounds like a solid hire. And just to make sure we cover all ages, Chris Bennett threw Akina's name in. Is he too old? So let's just come on.
You know, Chris, if they didn't need to, I think, replace a recruiter in this, I'd be okay with Akina on a short term, a year or two. I keep going back to this, man. Sometimes these hires can tell us a lot about what Steve Sarkisian is thinking, I think, from a long-term standpoint. And, you know, if he brings in a guy like Dwayne Akina and not someone who's stacking the roster for 2027, 2028, 2029, 2030. To me, if Dwayne Akina were hired, that would be a siren. I don't even know that I'd come on the show and tell you guys this. It's why I'm saying it in advance. If you're hiring a guy who's closer to Social Security than, well, if we have Social Security, if he's closer to that than he is getting on the road and like being an impact recruiting guy, then I don't know that this is the hire. They need, with all due respect, they got to have some guys. You can't tell me that Jeff Banks is really important because he's a recruiter, and that Tashard Choice is really important because he's a recruiter, and then start going. And then we know that Chris Jackson's turned into a really good recruiter, but that position demands it. And now you can say Chris Jackson, a really good recruiter. I think you got to go out and get a recruiter. But look, but Sarkisian has told us time and time again, I think that he believes he's the only recruiter on that staff that they really need. So we'll see.
Yeah. But then having said that, to your point earlier, Ketch, would you answer Vivek's chat here with a yes? Can we get an upgrade on Terry Joseph? That ultimately is what Sark's going to try to do. He would tell us he hopes he upgraded his running back coach by getting Chad Scott. Theoretically, he should be able to do the same thing here.
I think Terry Joseph's one of the top 25 DB coaches in America. I don't think he's top 10. So can you upgrade Terry Joseph? Yeah.
Yeah.
But
some other
we're talking about a guy that's had success at LSU, Notre Dame, Texas. Now he's in the NFL. Put some respect on his name. And I'm just saying, yes, I do think you can do better.
Some other names people are throwing out. Carrington's name has been thrown out. Bring Carrington home, says Said.
The thing is, Said, that's not what they need there either. See, that's what I'm saying. They need to go make a big dog hire here. That it can't be lost. Nothing about Mark Orfe yet suggests that he's ready to be a passing game coordinator. That's not what they brought him to do. So that was Terry Joseph's job.
And that had been in the job title for him multiple years. They just added the safeties in on this last shakeup.
That's the thing. You got to find a guy who can recruit his ass off, and he's got to be in charge of the passing game coordination. And I don't think that doesn't fit the profile of the kind of guys that Sark has been hiring lately. Now, could you go back and revisit some of the names that we were kicking around? The guy from Notre Dame earlier. Remember, we didn't have a title when certain hires were made, when Orfe was the selection for the cornerbacks coach. And we talked about, in order to go get some guys that were being talked about as candidates, it can't be a perceived notion that you stepped back. Can't be a passing game coordinator at one school and then just be a position guy at another school. So I do think they've got some equity now to play with that will make that job even more interesting for a number of people. That's a big job that's going to pay over $1 million a year. Mm-hmm. Who's not taking Steve Sarkisian's call on this?
Right. Yeah. And I think that's why it's fair to, people are throwing names out in the chat. We'll kind of put them. I paired this one up earlier. Torian Gray from South Carolina. How about this name, Ketch? You want a big name? Money B's throwing a big name. Do we finally make the call to Corey Raymond?
I mean, it would be a big call, but it has been a call that Steve Sarkisian has had in front of him in the past and has chosen not to make.
Yep.
I wouldn't bet on that based on the fact that Raymond openly politicked for the job when Sark took the job in 2021, and he gave Corey Raymond. I can't remember. It's been a little bit of time, but either he didn't get a call or he got a 5-minute call, but it wasn't serious.
Money B, thank you for that idea. Again, if you want to throw a super chat in, it'll go right to the top. An interesting comment here from Vivek. Man, with Gideon and Joseph gone, pretty huge reshuffling for our improved passing game. Passing defense probably means. Hope it doesn't regress. It is weird, Catch, the timing of it. A couple years ago, if both of those guys exited, not that Texas fans would have been thrilled, but there was some issue. There was an issue with that group. Now that you've seen all this improvement, now you got the double shakeup, and you gotta keep it.
Texas fans would have been thrilled had Sark fired Gideon and Joseph last year.
Yeah, certainly one of them. You both might have felt a little extreme, but there are fans that would have dug that.
No, I mean, I appreciate you trying to massage it.
Mm-hmm.
I was on Orange Bloods every day.
They'd have loved it, huh? They'd have celebrated.
There was not one of the two that was getting more shit than the other.
Okay, I got you.
So,
what a difference a year can make with that group. Now, as far as this hire goes, Catch, once the reshuffling happened, Orfe came in, and then when they reshuffled the titles and everything, he was cornerbacks, and safety coach was put on to Joseph? Do you think whoever's about to be hired is just going to take over Joseph's description? Passing game coordinator, defensive passing game coordinator and safeties coach.
Doesn't have to. Probably. But, I think that, my guess is you don't hire Orfe to be the cornerbacks coach and then pull the rug out from underneath him on that. So
right.
Probably. But you could just have a situation where he's a DB coach and he, if the best candidate wants to work with both the corners and the safeties and he's okay with working with the guy who's the primary lead on the corners, like that's not a deal breaker. But if the best guy, Sark will have some decisions to make. But, I just think this needs to be more of a Johnny Nansen type hire than it needs to be any of the other ones that we've seen made.
Tracy threw us another super chat. Tracy, we appreciate it. $2. If I'm Sark, I make a call to Saban for advice. Tracy, yeah.
Dude, Nick called him.
Trust me, that I'd be shocked if they weren't in contact.
Nick saw that headline. He saw his follow Anwar on Twitter. He was like, before Sark even knew, Nick was like, hey, all right, yep. I see you got a coaching change.
Let's start. What? Yeah. Jeffy's Nick Saban. He might have literally just texted him 2 words. The first word was get, and the second word was the last name. Like he's Nick Saban. They probably talked about it. And when he was looking at Orfe, they discussed all kinds of things. And I bet they discussed multiple names. And he may have just sent him, hey, get blank. Whoever that was. Whoever else they talked about. Go get him.
I think I would, if I were Sark, I would immediately rent out Saban's Airbnb. And the one that he lives in, that he rents out.
Right. The Verbo where he's hanging in the hot tub.
I would wait till he comes in the hot tub. Wait, that sounded awful. I would wait till he's sitting in the hot tub.
You got 10 minutes, Sark, and then it's daddy time in the hot tub.
And I would be like, you know what? This has been good quality time together. Look, can we talk about passing game coordinators? Have you been in the shower more than 5 minutes? No. Now back to the passing game.
It'd be fantastic. Fantastic. South End Zone Queen says, Chad, his 2 words were, I'm available. That would be excellent. South End Zone Queen. And Steve Sarkisian, just like last time, I would say, jokingly offer it to Saban just in case he'd say yes. Just in case you could make the craziest, splashiest DB coach hire in the history of college football. Make him say no, even if he's joking. Make him text you or say a swear word to you. I would absolutely do that. That would be fantastic. All right, we did get a super chat in. Okay, we got that one, but there was another one.
I thought it was almost 1 o'clock.
Did you? You thought that's gone that fast? $9.99 from Jason. Catch Sark just doesn't seem to do the big boy hiring thing. I would love to see it, but history says it won't. Jason, you have been paying attention.
He's not afraid to do it, but there usually has to be extenuating circumstances. Mm-hmm. Johnny Nansen's a big boy hire, but it was like, well, that's his best friend. And, like they are boys. And that thus opened it up for Nansen. We don't even know if Nansen would have necessarily been interested in that job had it not been for the connections. Kwiatkowski was a big hire. They've made big hires. Quite frankly, Tashard Choice was hired. If it wasn't Texas, his big job was coming. It was going to come from a big boy program. So, but the last few hires, man, it's unavoidable. And it's why, Jason, I hope nobody asks me to put together a top 5 list of candidates. They literally have not been watching the shows for the last few weeks. If somewhere today someone asks me for a list of the top 3 to 5 candidates, because it is a waste of time. In fact, the worst thing I think some of you can do in the chat is to not nominate guys. Because if word gets back to Sark that someone nominated somebody, he might just change his mind. He likes it to be his guy.
Yeah, he does like it to be his idea. I've said it before, Catch. This is where Sark reminds me of my wife. When it comes to like eating out or music or movies, sometimes it can't be your idea. You can somehow plant the idea, but my wife sometimes just needs to be her idea. She needs to be the source of the idea. We've been married long enough now. My ideas aren't always the cool ideas. So you got to be careful how you do that. I think that's where Sark is right now. He likes it to be his idea.
I do think this is the biggest hire, though, of the offseason now. This is more important than the running backs coach or the corner coach. This is the most important hire he'll make.
Yeah. I think there's definitely a solid argument for that. If you guys want to throw a super chat our way, we will take those. We also will be thanking some of our great partners, including Hayes City Store. Now, how about this? Let's combine two of my favorite things, and I know two of Ketch's favorite things, Hayes City Store and music. Oh, wait a minute. Three of my favorite things, free stuff. How about a free concert series to celebrate the 10th anniversary of Hayes City Store? My man Travis sent me the info. Look at some of these artists. Have you ever seen Dale Watson live? You can see him for free. You ever seen Ian Moore? You can see him for free. You ever seen the Derailers? For free. You ever seen Vallejo? Or you just need to see him again? They'll be a part of it too. March 7th through the 16th. All shows are free. Get out to Hayes City Store. Check out Hayes City Store TX.com. 10 days of Hayes. And oh, by the way, pork chop pizza. There's what we had last time we went out to Hayes City Store. Just in case you need to see it. Yeah, there they are. There's your QR code. You can see the difference, can't you? Grilled pork chop on the left, blackened pork chop in the middle. My daughter's incredible meat pizza on the right. I got almost all of that pizza because my daughter's a psycho that doesn't like, leftovers. It was awesome. Get on out to Driftwood to Hayes City Store anyway for the great food, but also be thinking about those 10 days of concerts that you may want to check out. Very, very cool stuff. All right.
That is a dope lineup.
It's good stuff, right? I thought of you when Travis sent me that. I'm like, oh, it's very cool. I'm talking to my wife, Ketch, about the last show, LC Rocks. My wife loves LC Rocks. I've never seen him live, and she and the girls have gone to see him a couple times, and I'm like, hey, what about LC Rocks for free at Hayes City Store? So we're considering that one, but it's a good lineup. It is a good lineup. Mickey and the Motor Cars are in there too, which is kind of a, what would you call that? What's the band? They're why can't I think of the band name, Ketch? They're Austin connected, but they're from Oregon.
I'm barely paying attention to you because I'm sick.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of it now. I don't know why I can't think of the band. Why can't I think of that band's name? Famous band from Oregon that got big in Austin, and Mickey and the Motor Cars have members of that band. Like Reckless Kelly. There it is. They are Reckless Kelly adjacent. If you don't know Mickey and the Motor Cars.
Wyoming and Montana.
What's that?
I thought they were from Wyoming.
I think originally it was Oregon and then there, but it is that part of the country. I thought it was Oregon though. Anyway, Mickey and the Motor Cars. Yeah, Mickey and the Motor Cars contain a couple of the Braun boys from Reckless Kelly, in case you didn't know that. All right, so big story, obviously, this Terry Joseph story today, kind of out of nowhere. It's weird, Catch, because I saw a friend of ours over the weekend that's a big Saints fan. And so one of the things
just for the record,
yeah,
Cody and Willie were raised in Central Idaho, and then they formed the band in Idaho. I'm refusing to give Oregon credit.
Fair enough. All right. I like that you fought for that detail. I'm sure Willie, the boys.
Because once you said Reckless Kelly, I obviously knew who you were talking about. And then I realized you were just giving me clues I didn't have any idea about.
Right. Exactly. So I screwed that up.
You know that band is down near the ocean? No, I don't know the band down near the ocean.
All right. I didn't know where Reckless Kelly was from. My bad. So in terms of the thing that I just lost out of my head, I have no idea what it was. What were we thinking about? Oh, yeah, I was hanging with a Saints fan this weekend. She was obviously focusing in on this coaching staff and who they're putting together. And kind of the joke among Saints fans was how many guys they're taking from the Eagles staff. So as a Cowboys fan, I'm pretty pumped about that, Catch, because just take apart that Eagles team however you can. Kellen Moore and take some coaches with him. But I did not realize that that another Texas coach was up for grabs here. Can we have some kind of a light or a siren that goes off when it's all done? Like when all the coaching staffs are set? Like when can a Texas fan just take a breath here, Catch? When are they going to be able to exhale? After this hire, are they going to be able to exhale on the staff?
This is the exhale moment.
Okay. After this one.
Yes.
All right.
Well, this one's unique because of the situation with the Saints.
Yeah.
That this one's late. I mean, it's almost March. There have been times in the past when, spring football was a thing. When around the 24th, you can see spring football start up at some schools.
Right.
So
this is a byproduct of that, the timing. This is what happens when you want a guy that's coaching in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you got to wait. And these are the rules they put in place in the NFL about, we'll give you little windows where you can talk, but you can't truly get him till he's done. Like, you got to let him finish out coaching. And Kellen Moore, to his credit, ends up not letting it distract him. Team wins the Super Bowl, and now he's headed to New Orleans. And Terry Joseph is going to be I haven't even heard that side of it, Catch. Is he the DB's coach, I'm assuming, of the Saints now?
I don't know. And if I can be completely honest, I usually don't care about those details.
Right. Yeah, I didn't even look.
Once someone's gone, it's like, oh, she broke up with you. Well, what is she doing now?
You are.
I don't know.
Yeah, you're saying you're not Garth Brooks. What she's doing now is tearing me apart. You have no clue. No clue.
Not if you're Texas, man.
Yeah.
If you're Texas, you shouldn't. And I cover Texas. So, this feels different potentially if it's something else, but this program is rolling at such a – think about it like this. Steve Sarkisian was able to get Terry Joseph as his DB's coach in 2021 when this program was in hell. This is the season we're entering the Arch Manning era. They've been to 2 straight Final Fours. They spend a shit ton in NIL. Like, they've got it going. And, oh, by the way, Sark set this thing up. So not only are you going to have assistants, but you'll have assistants to the assistants. And, they are just have built this thing up so that, even if it was a guy, even if it was Belichick, I mean, you could go to him and just say, you know what? We got enough recruiters. If you want to come, you don't even have to recruit. We'll keep you at home. You can go check out an Austin area high school from time to time, but we'll give you the Austin beat, which is historically what you usually give the veteran coordinator who sucks the most as a recruiter. That's the guy that recruits Austin.
I see.
Yeah, send him down to Westwood, let him go to Westlake, hit McCallum, drop in over, at Round Rock High School. You give him, once it gets outside of Round Rock, though, whoa, slow down.
Easy now. Easy. So in your mind then, and we also have to remember that if they're going to have a cornerback coach and a safeties coach and a nickel back coach, are they all going to be recruiters? Or is one of those guys going to have to not be a recruiter?
No, your DB coaches have to be recruiters.
All 3 of those guys would
have to be.
Yeah. Okay. We'll keep our
Who are you talking about?
The 3 DBs coaches.
Why are there 3 DBs?
Because you got a coach that's now designated as a nickel.
Yeah, but that guy can't go on the road.
They've designated someone as
he's an on-field only coach.
Okay, so they've already designated him as he can't recruit, right?
Yeah, there's only 10 coaches that can go on the road and recruit.
Right, okay. I know that. I'm just wondering.
You could hire Bill Belichick to be your DB's coach and say he's on the field on games, I think, and then but he's not on our list of recruiting guys. Because we've seen Texas in the past when coaches have been ill or whatever, you're able to you're able to substitute your 10. I'm not sure. It probably doesn't quite work like that. I would need to check. I'm trying to think. The rules change so fast. I'm not used to working in a world where you can have a nickels coach, but that nickels coach doesn't recruit. Like that's just woo.
I know. It is a new world. We said it the other day when we were going over that staff. Like, there's a coach that's just coaching nickelbacks. Okay. All right. If you guys want to throw in a super chat, feel free. Also, let me give a shout out to AV Consultations. Remember, if you have a screen that is too small, too old, just not what you want, get the best screen possible. Let them buy the TV for you. Don't forget that detail. Don't run to a box store and then call AV Consultations and say, hey, I got this TV. Let them handle everything. Let them handle every cord, every speaker, every bit of furniture, everything to give you that room of your dreams, to give you the man cave you've always wanted, the movie room that you've always wanted. And like we talked about, you might have gone somewhere for the Super Bowl and realized, holy crap, Uncle Al's got a better TV than me. That can't happen. Uncle Al cannot have a better TV than me. Get the TV that will make Uncle Al's eyes bug out of his head at AV Consultations, 255-8678, or go to avconsultations.com. Terry Joseph headed to the NFL. That is the big story that lands on top of us and the Longhorns on a Monday. I guess I should say on top of the Longhorns and us on a Monday. So we're going through all of the things that it means. Jeff Ketchum, I know you've had a day. I know you've gone through a lot of stuff today. What's left? What else is there to say on this Terry Joseph thing?
Nothing right now. I don't know what else there is to say. We've said it.
Yeah, we have absolutely gone through that. So Texas has another staff change to deal with.
I'm not at my A+ best, Chad. Apologies on this Monday.
It's okay. I understand. It is the honesty that I've come to expect. That's what I love.
It was like yesterday. So Liverpool won a big game yesterday, Chad.
Mm-hmm. Is that why you're rocking the sweatshirt today?
Yeah, celebrate.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm flaunting it a little bit.
Okay.
I'm not going to lie about it. And one of our subscribers, I mentioned that my 10 Thoughts column wasn't going to air live because I needed rest. And he goes, "Oh, I know what you're really going to do." And he was talking about Liverpool winning. Mm-hmm. And I was like, half of me wants to rave, and the other half of me wants to just put my head on my desk and fall asleep. And I think we just got a dose of that, like the last 3 minutes. I didn't mean to. I put my head down, and then I heard you talking, and I was like, Chad is like the symphony to my dreams. What? Chad, the symphony? Because we're live still. Okay, back up.
Uh-oh. Still live. In fact, I can give you another symphony. This time it'll be the cool voiceover guy for Specs. It is the Specs chat. Almost 600 of you in there. The wine sale continues. Here's that sweet voice.
With hundreds of wines on sale, Specs is turning these aisles into the ultimate love story.
Uncork something special during Specs' huge wine sale going on now. Specs, the fun starts here.
I'm glad that wasn't 30 seconds, so you'd have been asleep. That's so soothing. That could have put you right out. If y'all want to throw in a chat, feel free. Our man CB making me feel old. Chad, were you calling Texas women's basketball games the last time they were number one before today? 2004. Yes, Chris Bennett. I believe. In fact, that was the first season, I think, where I would have been like full on every game. I'd filled in a little bit, but I believe it was the 04 season where I was officially color analyst and then play-by-play if needed, if Craig Way couldn't pull it off. So yes, and congrats to that team. By the way, Ketch, if you want to see a coach yell at their team, you just let Texas go to Georgia tonight as the number one team in America and get down like 6 or 8 early, and they're sluggish. Vic Schaefer's going to land on that group. It's got to be Georgia's horrible in women's basketball. They are 2-11 in the SEC, and Texas just got the number one moniker because NC State knocked off Notre Dame over the weekend, knocked them out of the number one slot. But congrats to that women's team. 6 o'clock, SEC Network tonight. If you want to see the better, I'm on a limb here. If you want to see the better of the two Texas basketball teams, my opinion, you can watch tonight at 6 o'clock on the SEC network. They are 26-2 if you need them. All right, let's see. We've got the Terry Joseph thing. We got Jeff Ketchum celebrating a Liverpool victory. Who did Liverpool beat, Ketch, that got you to wear the sweatshirt?
They beat Manchester City in Manchester City in the league for the first time since 2015.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And it gave us an 11-point lead in the league with 11 games to go.
Well, that sounds important.
Arsenal lost this weekend, so it was like a 6-point swing. And life's just good.
Which team is Anwar into?
Arsenal.
Okay. So did that give you a little extra happiness?
No, man. I don't know. Unless Anwar was dickhead Anwar. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, if he was treating me like I treated him during fantasy football back in the day, then I would have gotten some extra gratification on it. But Anwar's good people, man. Like, I want Anwar to be happy. So, I generally don't like to rub. That's not who I am, man. I'm not rubbing in especially people that I know. Because you know what, man? I know how bad it sucks. I know, man. If Liverpool were to have lost yesterday, I'd still be dejected. So, like, I know the lows. You got to respect that, man. Let people live in their lows without agitating and making it worse.
Yeah. By the way, to this one earlier, Ben, we don't think this one got by us. The answer to this one is probably no right now. Just, probably not the guy to bring in and deal with your kicker. I like this idea maybe better. That might be an idea. Brandon Aubrey? Yeah.
Why can't we just give Brandon Aubrey money and shave his head? Give him a different name?
Eligibility. How do you check on that eligibility issue?
Brandon Aubrey, bro. Where's he from? Australia. We found him in Australia.
Call him Brandon Auburn. No, he's Bert's cousin.
Don't tell me all these guys from Australia, these kickers. Don't tell me all these guys are really from Australia. These dudes are from parts unknown. And what happens is you say the guy's from Australia and everybody's like, well, okay, so who would claim that if not otherwise? I think that's the big mistake that our boy from the 1995 Sugar Bowl made. Ron McKelvey.
Yeah. God, how great would it
needed a name that would have sounded good in the show Bluey.
How great would it be, Ketch, if they would announce a guy in 2025 from parts unknown, like he's in world-class championship wrestling in the 80s. Parts unknown was always one of the greatest intro lines ever. When you were a scary character, they did that with the Ultimate Warrior for a while. The Undertaker, like when you were spooky, they'd say parts unknown. It's like it's the scariest place to be from. There you go. That's right. Ron Weaver, Ron McKelvey. Pick your Ron, whichever Ron you think of when that story.
Ron Sharma from New Zealand.
There it is.
Who's looking that guy up?
Yeah. Well, nowadays
there would be one nosy guy from the Statesman who's like, hey, I have this idea of going down to New Zealand and doing a story on a feature story.
Yeah. Ketch, some dumbass with OCD would look something up and realize what it had. Like, wait a minute, hold on. Yeah, it would be bad. That would be bad.
You're not cheating if you're not trying, or you're not trying. You're not cheating. I can't remember.
If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Hey, by the way, I have all 5 of my buy or sell questions ready to go today. It's not a hint. Okay. It's just to say I won't leave you hanging today. I can even go first today. Like, I'm good.
Beautiful. All right, we will get to that. We're going to get Ketch out a little early today because he's been busting his ass all morning, and the Terry Joseph news came down. And
this is my second show in the last few hours.
A lot of stuff going on. Just real quick, let me tell you about Sinus and Snoring Specialists. Weather changes all over the place. This week, it's going to be like 75 degrees, where I have a couple highs in the 60s and 70s. Last week, cold as hell, down in the 20s. That stuff used to mess with my allergies, something fierce when it went from hot to cold. It's not raining for a while, and then it like rains for 4 or 5 straight days, and my head would just close up. The reason for that was my nasal passages were literally just clogged up. Like 85%, clogged up is what they told me back in 2017. But I got it taken care of. I got rid of my allergies for good. I got rid of the snoring and sleep apnea issues that I was having. And I've been sleeping like a baby since 2017. It's a fantastic thing. You can have it too. It won't be the same path as mine. It's not cookie cutter stuff. They're going to figure out what your particular situation is, and they're going to help you fix it. 512-601-0303, or go to sinussnoringent.com. Like I always say, if you know the Austin area, you know where they are. Parmer and Mopac. Yep, right there near that intersection. So it is not some out-of-the-way place that is hard to find. Go check them out. Sinus and snoring specialists. Feel clear, rested, and healthy. Always important when the sinuses and the allergies start trying to attack you. Okay, for some reason, Ketch just went blackness. What just happened? Ketch, are you there?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Your screen just went black. You just went media shutdown on me.
I've gotten locked out of my computer.
Weird. Okay.
And it's not. There we go.
Nope. There it is. Okay.
I had wondered what would happen if, because I got this new wireless keyboard.
Okay.
I have not figured out which button does it. Can I just start pushing buttons? There's a button that if I push, it locks me out of my screen. But I accidentally keep pushing it, and I don't know which button I keep accidentally pushing, and then that happened.
Oh, yeah. Be careful then. Just stay away from whatever the button area there.
I'm sweating here. Is this me breaking my fever? What's happening?
Could be.
Or am I just wearing a
You are
big
wearing a
sweatshirt?
Yeah, I think it's a combo.
Literally is called a sweatshirt. So
combo of those things. Before we get into buy or sell, a thanks to a wrestling nerd in Jerry the Targaryen Steamboat, reminding us that the Undertaker was never parts unknown. It was always Death Valley, but they didn't say which Death Valley. Thank you, Jerry.
Wasn't the missing link from Parts Unknown?
Missing link was that was probably Parts Unknown. Yeah, anything like that. Maybe the gobbledygooker. Where was the gobbledygooker from? That had to be Parts Unknown, right? They didn't say the gobbledygooker was from St. Louis or something like that. That just wouldn't have worked. All right, Ketch, are you ready? You said you're willing to go first. You want to go first today? Buy or sell?
Hold on, this is important.
Hang on.
I want to know where the gooker is from.
Okay.
So I'm looking it up.
Look at that. You called me on my wrestling reference.
It does have a hometown.
And what is it?
Hartford, Connecticut.
From Hartford, Connecticut, the gobbledygooker.
And in case you're wondering, the species is a turkey. If you're ever wondering, is that a chicken? Is that a turkey? Did a lion and a tiger have babies and it's a liger? No, it's actual turkey. And there we go. Now I'm ready for buy or sell.
Yeah, there you go. It's always great to talk about the stupidest, greatest thing on earth, professional wrestling. All right, you want to go first or second?
Buy or sell number one. No football this weekend. You're all right.
I mean, it's a baby sell. I'd always rather have football, and I'll watch a little UFL when it finally cranks up. So it's a baby sell. I mean, I'm going to be okay, yeah, but it's still a baby sell. I love football. I'll take any kind of football you want to throw on. And, actually, you know what? Back up. It's a buy because it's combine weekend. That's why. Because I'm a combine guy. I love watching, and Saturday I get quarterbacks, receivers. I'm fine. Yeah, I'm good. Big buy because I got the combine.
You wouldn't feel that way if you were a Liverpool fan. Buy or sell number two. Texas tops the women's poll for the first time in 21 years. National championship or bust at this point.
I'll sell. I won't go quite that far. I'm going to respect women's basketball as a whole. It's not one of those years where it feels like, well, if this one team does what they do, like nobody else can hang out with them. I'd put that or bust. I'd put Final Four or bust. That's where it is. Do they have to win the Natty? No. Do they even have to make the championship game? No. But they feel like an absolute 1 seed. And what does that mean? To live up to it, you got to get to the big dance. You got to get to the Final Four. That's the bar I would set for them right now.
Buy or sell number 3. Fire Rodney Terry.
Eventually, that's got to be a buy. It's got to be a buy. I'm not saying this past weekend was his at Lawrence moment, but it kind of was. They were 0-13. Like in our Orange Bloods chat, somebody fired up with, wait a minute, am I seeing the screen right? Like they were questioning themselves. Wait, South Carolina's 0-13 in conference? What is happening? And they're up 18 at the half. I mean, obviously a crazy run could occur, but it doesn't feel like they're consistent enough. And I think ultimately it's got to change. You can't be this team in this conference in this time frame and be that inconsistent. You got to figure it out.
Buy or sell number 4. Cold pizza is better than hot pizza.
I will sell that, but I do.
You had cold pizza this weekend, right?
No, I reheated it. It was leftover pizza, but actually I did a little of both. A little bit cold, a little bit reheated. Catch, my thing with pizza, I love all kinds of pizza. My thing is the further you are into the day, the hotter the pizza needs to be. I'm a cold pizza in the morning, warm pizza for lunch, hot pizza for dinner guy. So is it better than hot pizza? No, but I do dig some cold pizza. I do not want to insult cold pizza here, but I'm not going to say it's always absolutely better than the hot pizza.
I have been known to order a pizza in advance of the day that I want it.
Wow.
So that I can throw it in the fridge and have it the next day when it's cold.
Dude, you are a cold pizza connoisseur. I did not realize that was even a thing. That's well played. I mean,
or if I order a hot pizza, I'll grab I'll eat like a piece. But then I'll slow myself down because I'll be like, whoa. You're ruining it. It's better cold. You got to be able to pace yourself so that there's more cold left. Now, the problem is you get like 3 or 4 days into a cold pizza and it starts to shrivel. You have to make decisions.
Right. You got to be real. That's why I stay on my daughter. My daughter will get a pizza catch and tell me she's going to eat the leftovers. And I stay on her like a hawk for the next 2, 3, 4 days because she lets it go too far. I'm like, honey, we're headed towards curly cardboard. What are you doing? Is this me or you?
If it curls, it's gone. So that's the rule.
Because I got so pissed off. I get so pissed if she waits too long and then says, okay, now you can have it. Like, oh, really? I can have it now? Thank you. So I got to stay on her for that time frame.
And finally, buy or sell number 5. You have a favorite Reckless Kelly song, and it's Nobody's Girl.
Oh, wow. Nobody's Girl is a great Reckless Kelly song. And you went right to the album, too. Under the Table and Above the Sun is my favorite Reckless Kelly song. My favorite Reckless Kelly album. Nobody's Girl is excellent. But my favorite Reckless Kelly song, Catch, I believe, is May Peace Find You Tonight. I'm a sucker I love their faster stuff, but I am a sucker for their more emotional stuff, the slower stuff. And every time I hear May Peace Find You Tonight, I get a little emotional. I think of family. I think of people that have passed on. And it always makes me feel the right feels. So May Peace Find You Tonight is my favorite Reckless Kelly tune.
All right. Well, there you go. There's my 5.
All right, let's get after this here. Where did it go? And, look at this. Look at this. First time ever, Catch. I think this is one where mark it down. You were ready and I wasn't. I just realized I didn't put them in. Like I've got them, but I'm just going to have to read them to you. Are you ready? This is great. Buy or sell number 1. After losing to that South Carolina team, you think the Texas men will get in if they go 2-2 and hit the 7-11 conference mark?
Buy. But, man, they've got a game on Wednesday at Vietnam.
Yeah.
Where those two teams are pretty equally on the bubble. In fact, I was ESPN's bracket. I was originally going to have a different buy or sell question for you that involved Texas basketball. And I clicked on bracketology. I was just curious, like where they are listed at 52% to make the tournament. Arkansas is listed at 46%.
Yeah, they have the same exact record right now, don't they?
Oh, I don't pay attention to Arkansas basketball enough to know that.
I think overall record is like right at the same number.
They're playing with fire, man. That win a week ago gave them some grace.
Yep.
And they spent it this weekend.
And then they absolutely left it on the floor in Columbia. I couldn't believe that.
Tournament starts today. They're in. The problem that they have is that the other one, man, they're going to make the tournament, okay? Mm-hmm. But they're going to probably have to do it by winning their last two home games, Georgia and Oklahoma. And they've beaten Oklahoma like 500 times in a row.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Well, here's
I don't know. This team is so weird.
Oh yeah.
That I hate to get crazy, like saying anything too strongly one way or the other. I think they're going to make the tournament. And once they're in the tournament, people will think I'm crazy for saying this. They've got good enough guard play that Trey Johnson on a hot weekend could get you somewhere.
Yeah,
but it's not a good team. They're not good, or they're awful to watch. I think, the thing about Tom Penders back in the day was that his teams really weren't any better than this. But they were a shit ton of fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Penders only made the Sweet 16 twice. He made the Elite Eight once. And yet he was beloved at his height because he played a brand of basketball, man. When people want to come out to get entertained, and they were. I used to go to Run Out Horns games all the time. And that was before I was a Texas fan. Like, I hadn't gone – this was before I went to school at Texas. This is when I was a Baylor fan. Grew up in Waco. But that basketball team was so entertaining that I went. Travis Mays, Lance Blanks, Joey Wright. Now, this team's awful to watch, man. It's just not fun. I watch because I've been watching Texas basketball for 30 plus years. So it's part in my DNA. But when I watch now, it does feel like watching a Cowboys game.
Well,
you're just like,
here's the problem, Ketch. Back to our earlier discussion. You know what Tom Penders' teams were to me? Pizza. Even the worst you ever saw was still pretty good. That's what pizza is.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not that you were happy they lost, but the ride was way more entertaining to get you to the loss. This team, oh my God. Sometimes the wins are hard to watch with this team. And by the way, those 4 games left at Arkansas, you mentioned Georgia and OU at home, at Ole Miss in the middle of those last couple, and only Ole Miss is ranked.
At Mississippi
State. You're right. At Mississippi State. Only the Bulldogs the Mississippi State Bulldogs are ranked. So you could look at that and go, well, they got to go 2-2, right? Or 3-1. I don't know. I have no idea. No clue. All right, Ketch. Thankfully, I appreciate you. You talked long enough. I got the questions in, so the rest will be the rest you should see. Buy or sell number 2. Right now, you'll take the field over Quinn for number 3 quarterback drafted.
Buy. Yeah.
You got a particular guy in mind right now, if you had to pick one? You liking Milroe? You liking this Jackson Dart talk, or is it somebody else?
I don't know, man. Some team's going to fall in love with somebody.
Yeah.
And it will feel peculiar to everybody else because there won't be a consensus. So the team that emphatically likes one of these guys that we don't think you can feel emphatic about is like, I got to be honest, man. I would flip my lid but not the Cowboys, because I'm done flipping my lid over that. Although I was driving my cousin who gave me the flu back to Hutto on Saturday so they could get back on a flight and go to Philadelphia. By the way, I have been invited to a boys' retreat for the NFL draft in the Poconos.
Oh, okay.
It is like a massive house with like arcades and gaming and hot tubs and all kinds of stuff. Apparently there'll be marijuana everywhere.
Wow.
So there's a good chance that I'll be doing the shows for the draft live from the Poconos.
Nice.
Because I wouldn't get the sense that there'd be any reason for me not to work during the day. I could be in the Poconos and do a show.
Gotcha. And guaranteed you wouldn't get the flu in that situation. That sounds safe as hell.
Oh, sure, Chad. Just keep me in my house forever. Don't let me get outside.
No, you got to get out. You got to get out and get those antibodies. And there's no better place, it sounds like.
That place will be Fauci right now.
No, that place will be full of antibodies. You need to get over there and lick some walls, brother. That's what you need to do. Get to the Poconos and lick some walls.
Sounds fantastic. So I'm just saying that seed got planted. And I told my cousin, I was like, man, I'm in, but you need to know my life. Until the plane ticket is purchased, I'm iffy. So
yeah, that's fair. All right, back to Texas football. Catch buy or sell number 3. Now that Texas has moved the Sam Houston State game to the 20th of September to create the 9/27 bye week before Florida, you will take them to beat the Gators.
Bye.
Yeah. Darn right. By the way, Texas, on behalf of myself and Doc Hastings, thank you, because now it allows me to go to an A&M game on that off week that I wasn't going to get to go to. CDC, mwah, well done, sir. Well done. I didn't know. It's Auburn. They're hosting Auburn that week. Very excited about that. All right, Catch, we mentioned this guy the other day, and he's got a birthday today. Ed Too Tall Jones has the birthday. We were too young to see him play in college, but you can name the college.
It was East Tennessee State or Middle Tennessee State?
Oh, just take that first word off and you're good.
Tennessee State?
There it is. Tennessee State, which is in Nashville, I believe. Ed Too Tall Jones.
School?
Well, that I would have to double check. I think so. It may be called
something. Nashville a bunch. I've never seen a sign for Tennessee State.
It might be called something different now. Like if you look it up, it's probably one of those schools you already mentioned. Like maybe today, is it East Tennessee State or is it?
I don't know. Tennessee State Tigers football. There we go.
Yeah.
Tennessee
That's it for your trivia fans.
It's a thing. Okay.
Ed Too Tall Jones, Tennessee State. And finally, Catch, I know you're excited about what's coming this Sunday. So let's go here. Timothée Chalamet won the SAG last night for A Complete Unknown. You think he gets the Oscar on Sunday?
Sell.
Okay.
I think that is not a terrible indicator. I mean,
that's what I've been told.
I had listened to some podcasts that were like, if he's going to have a chance, he has to win the SAG because it would be an indicator of late Heisman voting.
Mm-hmm.
I still think Adrian Brody from The Brutalist is going to win Best Oscar. I believe still the betting favorite. But Chalamet will make that interesting, and I'll be looking for it on Sunday for sure.
Gotcha. And you still haven't seen Complete Unknown, or you have?
I haven't, but it hits streaming this week, and I will be watching it. I have 3 movies to go.
There you go.
Before I see all of the the movies I have to see this week. You ready?
Mm-hmm. I'm ready.
A Complete Unknown, Nickel Boys, which I could already watch on streaming, and it just didn't happen this week. And I'm Still Here, which is a Brazilian film.
Gotcha. So by the end of the week, I can ask you if Adrian Brody or Chalamet would get your vote, and you can tell me.
Yes, but as of right now, Brody wouldn't get my vote.
Oh, who would get your vote right now?
Coleman Domingo and Sing Sing.
Coleman Domingo. Okay.
But I have not seen. I saw Sing Sing last week,
and
it blew my mind. Blew my mind, man.
Cool. I do love me some Coleman Domingo. He's fantastic. All right. Congrats to Chalamet. My daughter was screaming her head off last night. I have Mr. Chalamet has helped turn her into a Bob Dylan fan. So
I blame that on my wife too, man, because that's a movie that I wanted to see in the theater. And I
Really?
think life just happened. It can't. More life than anything else. But if Heather had been, let's go see that movie, and we'd made time. Like I was kind of flying solo on that. I don't know that she's a Chalamet guy like I am, which is kind of odd, right?
See, that's the thing, Ketch. I had a teenage girl who's a Chalamet freak keeping me updated on, the movie's about to come out. We going to see it? We're going to go see it. So,
and my wife doesn't do Dylan. So it also wasn't like, what are you talking about? It's a Bob Dylan buyout. I know.
Right. And that's my wife too. My wife's not into Dylan and didn't want to go see the movie, but my daughter being into Chalamet helped lock it in.
But by the time I wanted to go see by the time we got to the fuck it, I'll go see it by myself stage, it was out of all of the theaters nearby. And then it came down to, do I really want to drive like 45 minutes to a theater? And I was like, no. Yeah, no. I think I even asked you, right? If I watch this movie on streaming at home, do I lose anything?
Yeah, to me, you're fine there. You'll still feel the movie through streaming. Real quick, Catch, just because we love Barb's 10, I thought this was an interesting buy or sell. Doesn't this have to be a sell? Buy or sell, Rodney Terry is still the head coach because CDC doesn't have a better option yet? That needs to be a sell, doesn't it?
So they're not firing the coach.
Barbs, I know it's college basketball. I know it's 2025. I know the sport ain't what it used to be, but you got to have lists and you got to have candidates.
But look, here's the thing.
Come on.
They fired their last coach midseason. That's not a badge of honor for an athletic director. It's about as embarrassing as anything that they can do. He hired Rodney Terry. Now we can get into the dynamics of how that all happened and who supported whatever required. I get it. But ultimately that's his hire. And this is I can remember last year started slow, Chad. I had people in the athletic department telling me that the basketball team's performances were affecting Del Conte's moods and that he was kind of embarrassed by it all. Embarrassed by it's December and people are calling for Terry to be fired. And then that kind of went away. They finished the season strong. There wasn't a lot of that at the beginning of this season, but every time it pops up, it's a reminder that, you know what, this has kind of been going on for a couple of years now. And while this might only be year 2 of him as the head coach, it's the only 2 years we know. And so they're not going to get rid of him. And honestly, how did that work out for them the last time?
Right. But again, I don't think Barb's 10 is talking about an immediate thing. He's just saying he's still the coach because he does. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe
asking why Rodney Terry, why is he still the head coach? Why has he not been fired?
I was interpreting that as he was saying he wouldn't have a better option at the end of the season. But Barb's, you're right. I think Barb's is talking about right now. Yeah. That would be.
Rodney Terry isn't the coach because he can't find a better option. Rodney Terry is a better coach, or Rodney Terry is still the coach because Chris Del Conte is going to show him a ton of respect. Yeah. He's going to give him every opportunity to save this season because we're going to look like some jackasses if they win 2 out of their last 4, they skate into the tournament. But if they make the Sweet 16, nobody's going to care about anything else that happened. That's the way it works in college basketball.
Yeah, especially now. You're right. It's true. It is true.
Because one of Tom Pender's famous teams, right? There's his best team that made it to an Elite 8. There's his next best team, which I wouldn't even say was his next best team. It was the one that had the most tournament success. They were at 11 or 10? They were a 10. They beat the 7. And then South Carolina, I think, as the 2 seed, got beat by Coppin State.
There you go.
They beat Coppin State to get to the Sweet 16, and suddenly it was one of the best basketball seasons in the history of the program.
Right. Yeah. Because a 15 beat a 2. That's just.
And it wasn't you. You didn't do that.
Right. It was a huge part of it, but that's how that bracket can get weird and magical sometimes. It's like, well, who'd you play? We played who they told us to play. We
Played those
played
two teams.
Yeah, it's a thing is I always bring up tennis in those situations. Well, you didn't have to beat McEnroe. Well, McEnroe didn't beat who he played. What do you want me to do? I can't make McEnroe advance on the other side.
It's like you never beat McEnroe in any of your 10 finals victories. Well, that sounds like a John McEnroe problem.
There's no gift in sports, Catch, that you take faster than a bracket gift in college basketball. You don't question it. You take it and you run with it as fast as you can. Well, what about the 1 seed? Yeah, whatever. We just played who showed up.
So I would just say, to go back, Barb's, the thing that I would just hit home again. This season is still salvageable. And they're not firing a coach in year 2 while the season is still salvageable. As unlikely as it might be, I hear you. Don't listen to me right now and think that you're hearing me say that it's Mackley. I think it's most mathematically likely when the season's over. However, there's still an escape route. And nobody, we didn't enter the show on Friday with this discussion. We got to stop doing this thing where result to result we react. We can't stop thinking they don't need a new coach because they beat Texas A&M, just like we need to stop thinking they need a new coach because they lose to South Carolina. It has to be a zero-sum game. Is he the right coach? Can we do better? And if the answer is no, he's not the right coach, yes, we can do better, then nothing that he does in an individual game matters. And you know what? This is the attitude they took with Tom Herman. Now, I'll forever believe that Tom Herman lost his job, in part because of the Eyes of Texas controversy. And you guys can scream at me until you're blue in the face, but trust me, you don't want to know the things that I know about that situation. And 2, the Quinn Ewers, Brockermeyer recruiting thing, it just felt like recruiting wasn't salvageable. But the year Tom Herman got fired, he finished the season, their final ranking that season was the second highest ranking for Texas football since 2009. They had a pretty good year. They finished in the top 20. They won their bowl game. Like, it wasn't a disaster. But you know what? Do you know what the decision makers decided? We can do better.
Wasn't good enough.
Tom Herman is a very good coach. And with Tom Herman, we'll get very good results. They thought Steve Sarkisian had a chance to be exceptional. And they took the gamble. And they've been proven right. And I think that the same group of decision makers have to be looking at this situation exactly. Can we do better? What's to happen to do better? The moment that we find our better answer, we execute. And we don't until then.
All right, before we duck out of here.
I thought I was ready for nap time.
You are. You are. As soon as we thank Texas Card House and mention Hijack Poker, go to hijackpoker.com. You can deposit and cash out at any of those 6 Texas Card House locations. Remember, this is online poker for those of you in the great state of Texas. Get that app scanned, put it on any device you want, and get to playing. All right, Catch. Anything else? You good? You ready? You ready to get a little nap in?
Hold on.
Uh-oh. Don't tell me there's breaking news.
No, I'm putting the hijack so that people can see what the app looks like.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Look at that. I like the drumming fingers. That's fantastic.
Download it.
The drumming fingers on the Hijack app. Who knew? That was a gift I didn't know I needed. That's fantastic. Check out hijackpoker.com. Thank y'all for liking, subscribing, getting your notifications. Remember, if you didn't like on the way in, like it on the way out. Thank you for those of you that have not subscribed yet, that are going to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're headed towards 25,000 subscribers. Thank y'all for that. We've got no football with friends today. The guys are traveling. Cody Carpentier checked in at the beginning of the show. He's waiting for Alex Dunlap to show up at the airport in Indianapolis so they can get over to the Combine. Tomorrow through Friday, they'll have special Combine shows for you. And if you don't know, Thursday through Sunday, 2 o'clock Thursday and Friday on NFL Network, noon on Saturday and Sunday. So real easy to keep track of. It's either 2 or noon this week for the combine workouts. And then tomorrow, we'll get the old-fashioned for you at 9 a.m. and the special modcast cranks up at 12 with myself and the fellas. I know y'all are upset. I know you Jeff Ketchum fans are upset that Ketch hadn't been on the modcast lately, but he's got to take care of some stuff. He's got to be the boss. He's got to be he got to put the admit.
I got to have one day a week.
He's got to have a day
where I just do all of the other stuff that this job requires.
Yeah, this is his day. He's doing this once a week so the rest of us can have a job. So we appreciate that part. And I get to just drag information out of Anwar, Jason, and Alex. And boy, will we have some tomorrow. I'm sure Anwar will have the very latest for us on this Terry Joseph situation. He's headed to the NFL. Who's the Longhorns' new defensive passing coordinator going to be, and safeties coach, we would imagine. Plus the latest from Jason and Alex. Again, Alex will be theoretically joining us from Indianapolis. I think he'll be able to be hooked up. We'll get some combine thoughts from him as well. Thank you all for jumping in. Thank you for the support. And we'll be back tomorrow at noon for the modcast. Y'all take care. Rest up, Mr. Ketchum. See ya.